Building with Papa. Okay, I just bought this 2900 psi Ryobi pressure cleaner. I like their products. They're inexpensive, and the majority of them, of the different products by Ryobi, last quite a long time, and you're paying less money. So that's why I liked it to get it. I had bought a 2700 psi and it lasts me for a lot of years. All right, let's unpack this. There's the gun. Here's the handle. This is just the wand that goes onto the gun. Alright, they're not real heavy. That's why I choose this small Ryobi. I'm able to store it in my garage, not take up a whole lot of space, and it's a perfect machine for around the house. Do my driveway, I can wash my cars, I can do my roof. They give you the oil, the hose, and this cover that the nozzles fit in, instructions and screws.
Okay.
All right, let's get started. Here's the handle. Put on, when you go to put it on, it's a little wider than where the handle actually is. You put one end in and then press over, squeeze it, and it'll go slip right in. Push in these little metal tabs and she clicks right into place. All right, now we got to put this little cover on here. It holds the hose, it holds all the nozzles. They give you the screws. There's 4 black screws with lock nuts. The lock nuts are really great. You don't need washers or anything, just slip these screws in. All right, now put a lock nut on to help hold it in place. Go ahead and start to put all of them in, and just start the lock nut. Now get a screwdriver. I like my DeWalt battery operated screwdriver. It'll be in the description. All right, cinch it down. Make sure you get it nice and tight. I put the first one in. It's not all the way tight. I'll get the second one in there and then tighten them up all the way. Get all 4 of them done. I like this machine. The 2700, everything was underneath and made things a little difficult. I like the design of this 2900 where everything comes off the back. All right, there's a elastic cord here that actually, once you put the hose on, it helps hold the hose in place, which I think is really good. All right, here are all your nozzles. On the front of the plate here, it shows you the degrees that they are. I mostly use the white one. It's 45 degree. You're going to use that for pretty much everything. And then the blue one, when you want to do soap, or like what I use, wet it and forget it on my roof, I use that blue nozzle. So in order to do the wet it and forget it or something else, you need to put this hose on. It goes right on top of that brass fitting that's pointing up at the top, and this siphon hose will go right into the bucket. They say not to use bleach in this, but wet it and forget it's not a bleach, and it works really good. And I don't pressure clean my roof anymore. I just soak it with wet it and forget it. I have a video on that. Okay, now once you get the hose apart, or the cords off the hose, you'll look in the end of the hose and you'll see it has a metal end and an O-ring in there. You want to slide that into the opening. It just barely goes in, and then once you screw it down, it slides all the way in and creates a seal. All right, this will screw on easily, so don't, if it's going on rough, back off and put it on. Make sure it's going on correctly. All right, now hook up the other end to the gun. They put the plastic caps on these brass fittings so nothing gets inside during shipping, which is very good. Again, the metal piece slides in. It has an O-ring on it. Just remember, if you ever have a problem where you're leaking out of those areas where the fittings are, check if it's tight. If it's tight, then the O-ring may be damaged. Change the O-ring, put some onto your machine, tie them on the handle or somewhere, so that if you have an issue when you're working, you can change out the O-ring right away. All right, this cap wanted to be stubborn. I don't know why, but it's a little tougher to get off than the other ones, but it will come off. Just pry it. All right, same thing with the metal piece with the O-ring on. Slip it on, and then she'll screw on nice and tight. Real easy. Okay, I'm gonna put the soap soaker in. And you push it in, make sure you push it all the way down. This one didn't want to go in at first. I didn't put any lubricant on the ball bearings, but I'm going to do that. All right, now on the side you'll see a little insignia with the oil pointing towards this spot where the gray cap is. Undo that gray cap, and that's where you're going to put the oil in. I made up this funnel. I cut it, it works just perfect. Sits there nice and easy, so I don't have to hassle with it. They give you the oil with the machine. It's a small can, but it's the perfect size. It's exactly what you need for the machine. Pour the whole thing in there. All right, I'm just getting the machine set up for work on Monday. So I'm not actually going to start it, but I'm going to show you where you hook up the hose, the gasoline, and the on-off switch. All right, put your cap back in, and the oil's right up where it needs to be. That's where you're going to check your oil every time before you start your machine. That's where you hook up the hose, and your gas goes right in the top. Has a bigger tank than the other one, so I really like that. I felt the other one was too small. Here's your on-off switch. Make sure you have it on before you pull. Building with Papa. Like, subscribe, and ring that bell.